Okay, I have no idea if this is working. How about I really have no idea. This is really annoying. Working with totally new software and 3 windows and 3 programs working together to make this work. It says the screen is not full. Okay. How about now? Did this do anything? Okay. That was a very hard and difficult birth. So, if anyone's still here after all of that, I wanted to talk to you about this small infinite multi-item storage system, and the reason I wanted to talk to you about it was that I was on my Discord community earlier today, and if you don't know, this kind of started somewhere over here, and the backstory is I'm working on a series with modular farms, a modular base where every module has to be within the restrictions of a 9x9. It can be 2 times 9x9, it can be 9x9 stacked upon each other, but that is the space. And I needed a fairly advanced, fairly easy to build, so you can build it early in game storage system. And I came up with this. Eventually, I came up with this system where you have non-stackable items that can pull out items that you throw in here, and of course it's infinite because you can put in however many minecarts you want. But it is quite primitive, and I got a lot of feedback. I got exceptionally amount of feedback on YouTube, on Reddit, and eventually even in my own Discord community. And we started ping-ponging about what we can do, of how we can improve it. And I will try to remember to mention some of the guys from my Discord community, especially, even though also some guys on Reddit came up with ideas. And I will try not to butcher your name, but probably I will. At least I remember that one very concrete thing that got me very excited was this automatic return system. But actually what we started with, I rebuilt a lot of it. It was just to have a clock, small clock, ether hopper clock up here, so that you could actually, that would run the time that it took to put in a stack, and then have a directory down here, so you would actually know when you put in different items what you would have. You would have an idea about what you had in the system. And then it would work with that you took out, for instance, this kind of seems wrong, but I don't know, I've probably messed around with this specific system, but you would go like this, and yeah, you can see there probably shouldn't be a minecart in there. And then you would push it over, and it would, and there's nothing in there, probably. It was just one random I took here, and probably nothing in there. But then it would fill up quite quickly with a stack, and then you would manually push it back, and you would take out the item, and it would automatically fill up with an unstackable item, be ready to take out another one. And I think it was Blue Ill or something who actually first thought about a return system, and if it wasn't, I'm so sorry. And I built it one way. He built it one way first, and I built it one way first, but I found out that this system here kind of works, where you just have it like so. And of course it works with that there's impulse, what's it called, current coming into the comparator, so it will always measure full stacks. So if we take out this, and do I have one of these? No, I don't. if we imagine it's like this, and we put in one item right there, and we put it over here, and that's when it's searching, and then when it's full, hopefully, and somehow that didn't work. Let me see what's going on. But that was one edition. That was actually the first edition, and it was easy it was quite easy to implement. It could fit underneath the system, and then things kind of started getting crazy because there was a lot of people on my YouTube comments, in Reddit, and in my Discord community who came up with all kinds of ideas. And how about this? How about this? How about this? And basically all of the ideas were good. Some of them, or a lot of them, would make the system quite a bit more complicated, and some of them would also make it quite a bit bigger. And remember, the whole idea when I started with this was that it would have to be in a 9 by 9 by 9 space. That was the maximum size, and it would be preferable if there also was some space where the player could go around. But I think, and I'm really sorry again if I end up butchering names, but Bunkerer has come up with quite a few good ideas. We were all in agreement about that this first clock here actually measures stacks of 64. And of course you could put in less than a stack, but if you did and you kept doing it, the directory would simply be, it would be misguiding. If we try now and put in a stack of whatever, and let me just see if it's set to a stack of 64. Now it will take that stack, it will divide it, split it up, it will eventually put one down here in the directory, and it will put the others blocks in here in this minecart right there. And I put sound on this, and it's actually still operating even though this is open. It's still putting down stuff down here, I can see, I think. And as you can see, one of my other subs, he was very, very happy that I managed to make it line up the two chests, because it was really messing with his OCD. And well, I kind of maybe have to agree that can be a problem as well. And you can see here I ended up turning it around several times, so now we actually have the start over here. And now you can see there's one item that has come down here, and that's how you build up the directory. And that worked fine with stacks of 64. But we wanted to be able to put in stacks of 16 as well. And the way we did that was simply, well, it sounded simply, but simply to add another hopper clock. And you can see if I can get in here, in this clock there's actually 64 items, that's how it counts. And in this one there's 15. And that's because there's a delay in the pulses, so that you actually need one less item counted for it to have the correct timing. It's basically it is a hopper clock, so it's based on timing. But this switch very simply puts a current up here and activates or deactivates this one. So it's important to understand that even if I put in a stack, did I put it down? Yes. Even if I put in a stack of 16 now, it will take as long for the system to process it as it would a stack of 64, because the main clock is still determining the reset time. Hope that makes sense. So as you can see now, this light has several functions. It shows the processing of the time down to here, and I actually wanted to delay that, because before, in one of the earlier iterations, items would drop down here very early in the process, and if you are not paying attention, you would actually be able to take it and try to take items out that hadn't yet been finished putting into the system. So that's one of the additions that isn't out yet. I'm calling this Mark 3, and I think one of my subs bunkerer said it should be Mark whatever something, and I'm losing count myself because I'm changing the systems as we go along. But basically it's a 64 item clock, it's a 16 item clock that's there, and these two are just to light up things. So you can see the actual redstone in this is still fairly simple. Now, another thing I discovered was that if you put in batches, have I done this? No, I haven't. In this case, I actually haven't changed this out for what's it called? A trap chest. But I would definitely use a trap chest here, because then it even helps. It helps you understand that there's the system that you shouldn't put in things at fluently, because that could mess up the system. So as you know, of course, a trap chest, it will keep the items there till you close the chest. But you can also see that these two here, they kind of closed. So when you're out now, you won't be able to get near the chest or put in items before that cycle is over. But that cycle could be a full double chest of items, but you just won't be able to mess with that cycle till it's done. So that's an improvement as well, I think. And of course the auto return system. And then Simon, no, I'm not sure really if it was System Simon, I think was the name, or it was Bunkerer, both of them in cooperation, that found out that actually I knew, but they made a valid point that when you have more minecarts in the system, if you have if we try to set up some minecarts just on the ground right here, and like so, and let's just put a hopper on top of it, like so, and then you put in, let's say, can I get in there and put in like 3 minecarts, and I put in a stack. That stack, because of the 3 minecarts that are there, will be evenly, as evenly as possible, distributed throughout one spot in the minecart chest. That is, there will be 20 something, whatever makes up 64. I'm not good at math right now. So you can see there's 23, 20 and 20 or something. So, but that also means if you put in 27 different stacks of items in the system, this, even though that would be the full amount that you could have in there, the directory could not be bigger, because 27 slots were full, and that's just a single chest. So as I said, even in the first video about the system over there, and I repeated it again, I'm getting notification. I'm trying to do this, and I have one of my admins looking, and he's writing with me on to me on the phone besides me. So I'm really having a hard time getting it all under control here. But the whole idea is, I said it in the early one, you cannot put in 1,000 minecarts. You cannot put in like 100 minecarts. Put in the minecarts you need, because otherwise, if you put in 64 minecarts from the get-go, and you put in 1 stack, there would be 1 block right down in 64 minecarts. So that's definitely a challenge with this system. So what Bunkerer I think suggested is that you actually have a system that detects when a minecart is full. You only put in the minecarts you need, and then the system automatically detects when a minecart is full. Then you put in another one, because what happens if you fill this up and you put in another one, you have another 27 slots to fill up and put in. I will show you a bit later. I will go into another world where I've had the full system that System Simon and Bunkerer made, but I couldn't get it to function for me in this setup. It simply got too big. But the idea, and I mean, that was the right idea. So what I've done is I've put in minecarts right here. And when you press this button, the reason that, if this is still running, that there is a light there, is that there's a process going on, or that the system is full. And that's actually because this minecart isn't put in the right place. So let's just do that. So now it's there. But every time you press that button, you automatically dispense a minecart. But what this slide does, it has two functions. It tells you that if the items are fully done, put into the system, not to the directory, but to the system behind it. And apparently they weren't, because the minecart wasn't pushed in place. And it tells you if it lights up that you need to put in a new minecart. And the way this works, very simply, with a lot of tinkering, I found out, is this is a detector rail, and when I push the detector rail over, this is a minecart dispenser, and I can see everything is in the cart. It actually just shoots out another minecart right there, and at that time, because I've pressed the button, the minecart is over there, so it will be able to actually put it on. If we can see, I do like this, and now it is taking out one more. And by now, really, that is the state of the system, and it has flaws, limitations, like most systems. The biggest one, I think, is that you can indeed put in stacks of 16, you can put in full stacks of 64, and it will handle it. And the directory down here will be very precise, telling you exactly what you have. But in an ordinary system, you would probably also want to put in like something you have in your directory that isn't any specific amount. You would like to put in something like this, for instance. And the system can easily take it, and if you put in one item at a time, it will also end up down here in the right way, and it will end up there. But now, of course, this here is not signifying a whole stack as it is with the other ones. It's only signifying the amount that you put in. And I mean, it's not fair that you will have to go and remember these. So that's kind of a flaw with it. Or it's another way. It only means, in that case, it only means there's more than 0 and less than 64. So what I would like to see is some kind of add-on that, and of course there's a limitation to how big it can be, and I like, that's another thing, I like that you are actually able to, and I'm in creative now where I have longer reach, but even in survival I'm able to reach the chest from down here without having to move around. But I would like an add-on that kind of, I think I've called it a sequencer several times, that are actually able to, where you can go and look up your items that you do not yet have a full stack of, be it 16 or 64, and when there is, and you can just dump in your stuff, and when there is a stack, it will automatically put it in the system, and it would be going in the larger system. But I haven't cracked the code for this yet. I found out something yesterday that I actually did not know. I could do it here. but it's even more simple. I have a system over here that I think maybe could be used to do it, or did I just think no? I accidentally found out. I didn't know. When you have a minecart, well, that I did know, but when you have a minecart on detector rail, it sends out a current. So even though that you have a hopper underneath, or if you had a hopper there, it would not put anything in the hopper, because the hopper is locked when the detector rail is on it. So you guys probably know this, but now, just because of the weight of the minecart, if I put in this, it doesn't go down, it stays there. And if I push it over with the piston, the rail goes with it. And maybe you can have a situation where, hang on, maybe you can have a situation where it will actually have time to put in one. But then accidentally, I found out yesterday, if you do it like this, you have the rail down there, you have a slime on top, it actually takes out the rail but leaves the minecart. And I thought that was that kind of a, and it even works if you have more than one minecart. That's interesting as well. And you can still take a current from it. So you could actually automate this somehow. So you did something like that. And then when it was empty, it would go back. Now there's 2 minecarts. I don't know if it will work with 2 minecarts. There's more than 2. But otherwise it would work. That's quite interesting. That you can have a setup like this, I think. There's potential, there's definitely potential in that. So maybe that's something to work with. Now let me just quickly change worlds. I hope this works and I don't throw you off. I will quickly go into this world right here, which is made by well, it's actually a collaboration. I think most of it is built up by the guy called Bunkerer from my Discord community. And you can see, I'm actually thinking that I want to put, eventually I want to put his version for anyone who's nerdy and think it's interesting. I will put it alongside the quote-unquote official version in the download section of my Discord community, where I put all downloads. And by the way, a lot of people, not the people in my Discord community, but a lot of people have asked me, why don't you put your world downloads on YouTube with a link or something? And I have done that before. And the thing is that I have seen my worlds in other people's videos, and of course having it behind one more layer of commitment that it is to go into the Discord community doesn't prevent that, but it does make it just that bit more. You have to have a bit more guts or whatever. To do it, because we can actually register who downloads what in there. So that's why it's in the Discord community and not just directly on the YouTube page. But moving on, this is actually a system that does a lot of the same things that the system that we just looked at. The Redstone is made slightly different. There's some additions that are not there, but there are also some things that are there. And I looked at it shortly before I had to go in here, and I think by now the system is actually empty. So we start off empty as we did before. This is the 64 clock. There's not as I understand it, or I can see, there's not a 16 stack clock, but it works the same way. And probably will end up in this directory first. The thing I didn't quite understand, and I still don't, it is that, there it is that, and I think it was System Simon who made a system with books. Throw books on the hoppers and they will be sent back. I guess you take out an item and you just queue on this. Oh, there was something in the system. So that's not exactly, how can there be something in this system? I'm a bit confused. I tried to read it, but I'm a bit confused. But what I understand is that there's two things I wanted to show you as a possibility with this system, because I know they've worked a lot hard on it. And in my system, there's only one, the directory can only be one double chest. They made a directory of 2 double chests. And of course, that's a logical expansion of it if you want to use it for a long time. And this, even though I totally mucked it up, is logical as well. I mean, I've seen a lot of other systems where you kind of queue the item and then it's in that case it's the item and then it starts searching. So the whole queue thing is, even though I messed it up here, it seems logical. And then this system, as I understand it, has a fully automatic return system for the minecarts and for restocking minecarts. It must be here, and what does the sign say? To dispense a card, the rail has to be extended so it connect. I'm not really sure. No. Yeah. That's actually one of the reasons I wanted to stream like this, but I'm just realizing having a stream like this doesn't mean that I get explanations. It just means that I'm able to express my what I don't understand about this. But I believe that these are experiments and all parts of the system that have gone into this, and yeah. My belief that it will actually automatically dispense minecarts as you need them, whereas I was going to point that way, but it's far, it's in another world. Whereas in my system, there's a maximum of 9 in the dispenser, and you will have to dispense them yourself. This system, however, is also quite a bit bigger. And so there's pros and cons. Now, I will probably, now that maybe Bunkerer will see this and some of my confusion, and System Simon as well, I will probably be able to, they will be better able to tell me on Discord what it is I don't understand. Maybe it also has to do with, I mean, it's always really, really difficult to look at other people's Redstone, including mine. And even though we talked about the functions, I've taken so many ideas from them, but I've kind of, I took the idea and then I just made it the way that I thought it was easiest to make. Other people's concrete how to do stuff with Redstone, it's difficult to get into and understand. Now, before we stop this, my very first stream, and thank you for all the patience for this, I wanted to show you something else that I've been working on for a long time that kind of came back to me. And if we start up somewhere down here, this is where I have all kind of crazy ideas for storage. I have regular storage systems as well, but this, if we take, what system should we take? Again, this is different iterations. I actually made, I'm not sure if it was exactly this iteration. I actually made a video about this because it does some of the same things that that the other system down there does. This is a system where you have to put in, like you do in many systems, you have to put in a filler block. So in order not to have all things go in there, you have to have a filler block. And the idea is then that you, if I remember correctly, you just put items in here. But if you want to set up a chest, for instance, let's say I wanted dirt in this, then I would probably take some dirt like this, take out filler block, like you know from most systems, and now it would be ready to take on 3 stacks of dirt in there. Now the way it works, if I remember it correctly, is that you take the dirt and you put it in there. And is it automatic? Yes, this version is automatic. And then these minecarts start rotating. There's a clock up here. It's an Etho hopper clock, very useful, best branded redstone item in the game, and so deserved. But you can see it pushes a minecart over. There's a rail that pushes it into a water stream, and then it rises up again. And at one point or another, it will pass this hopper, and the items will be put into the minecart. Very simple. So that's actually a way to have a system with a lot of different items in the same chests and have access to it. Now, the problem with this is that it's fairly slow. I'm not really sure how much slower it is than so many other systems out there, but it's fairly slow because it's going with a clock and there's only one hopper going into this. But what I found, and then it has one huge problem. It is that the only way right now to find your stuff is to go through the chest like this. And when it's finished sorting, it will stop. And the way you then go through the chests is by pushing a chest around. And actually, the solution to this was incredibly simple. I have no idea why I haven't thought about this before, but it couldn't be simpler. If you put in a hopper here, and I don't know what's in this system really. Oh, well, there's some of these anyway. So let me just take one of these. And I want to find that chest. All I have to do is put in an item. And, oh, is it locked now? Yeah, it was locked. Because this is actually automatic. It goes when it registers something, and then it starts. And then it will just push around until it finds a minecart that it can put these items into. And when it does, it stops. So it will be that chest down there at some point. Again, it's not super fast because it's going on a clock, and this clock is made so that one stack can enter a minecart. So it only has to pass once, and it's made split it up. So there's a hopper going in from this side and a hopper going in from the other side as well. And it's actually quite a smart little system. Doesn't feel much. Again, this has some limitations. Right now, can't remember. I think there's maybe around 20 minecarts in there, and of course you can build this down to basically to level 0 if you want to, but all the minecarts are stacked upon it on top of each other. And what I would like them to do was to collapse and then get put out one by one. And I've been fooling around with this in different ways and haven't made it successful yet. But if I manage to get these items to these minecarts to collapse so that you don't have to have a long space but you can just have one space for all of it. And then there's a trick that I saw in I think it was, maybe it was a Seth Bling video from around 2 years ago, where he made like a minecart system where when you have a hopper on slime block and you push it up, it will always take the lowest one, the first one that's put in, up first, which actually means that you can rotate them. Even though they drop down on top of it, it will take the one that was there first and push all the way up. So it shouldn't be impossible to make that system work, and then you would have rather a nice little system. The only thing you would need to add is, like over there, some kind of mechanism that makes your directory, then you would be totally good to go. I kind of like this system as well. And the reason I'm showing you this is if we're talking about this system over there, maybe that would be a system for things that you have stacks of and stacks of and stacks of, like ender pearls from your ender pearl farm, iron from your iron farm, output from farms, for instance, but other things as well, stone maybe, even though I do recommend that you do maybe a dedicated one for stone, but that could also be, but things that you have very few of, and in this case it could also be unstackable items, even though they would be harder to find, but you could have them in a chest. So you could have one thing that an item that signified unstackable items, and put that in, and then that chest with unstackable items, some kind of armor, for instance, would be there. That system could be a very, very good complement to that one over there. All right, guys, I think that was it. That was probably a long time. I don't know if anyone is still watching, but if you are, thank you. Did I just went Steve there for a short while? I think I did. But thank you for watching this first stream, and thank you for being gentle with me. It's a learning process. Maybe if I do it again, hopefully I'm better. See you soon. Bye.